Welcome back. I am Dan Edwards with the Eastside Real Estate Team, and we are welcoming to our show Jennie Steenbergen with Jay's Rental Stays. Jeannie is the owner of Jay's Rental Stays, an all-inclusive short-term rental services company in Seattle and the greater Puget Sound. Her background includes real estate, corporate travel, and managed services, which ideally qualifies her perfectly for this industry. Additionally, her daughter is a graduate of UW, Go Dogs, in architecture, and she brings a keen design eye and a strong project management skills to the team. This mother-daughter duo is on fire, and they're passionate about helping homeowners recognize their full property income professional. Welcome to this show, Jeannie.
Hi, thank you very much, Dan. Nice to see you.
Well, I am excited to share your services after talking about second homes, rental, and vacation property. So tell me how you got started in this industry.
Yeah, absolutely. I worked at Expedia for 7 years in corporate travel, and I learned everything about travelers, experiences, and expectations, travel. And what I learned was corporate travel is usually the second biggest expense for companies, and they're always looking for ways to cut costs. But the business traveler, they view their travel as a quality of life.
Hmm.
They're leaving their families, they're leaving their dog, they're changing everything to go on a business trip. Sorry about that.
That's all right.
And of course they want good Wi-Fi.
That's a good point.
I traveled for both work and leisure, and I wanted to stay in great homes to visit my family or go on vacation. And I've stayed at many Airbnbs. I love that option. We had one property that we went to in San Diego off Pacific Beach, right by Crystal Pier. And it was super clean. It had big living room, a deck overlooking the beach. And we'd go to the grocery store. We'd bring back a cart full of food and make sure that we could have breakfast together, pack a lunch, go to the beach, go for bike rides. I think one time we even went swimming with the seals in La Jolla. But we'd come back at night and we'd go to a trendy restaurant for dinner. So great memories, great photos. But on these trips, my daughter and I, we would talk about how much we love travel and having these experiences. And a couple of years ago, my daughter and I met somebody who managed short-term rentals, and we decided that we wanted to start our own company. This individual, she took us under her wing. She taught us everything. And the more we learned, the more we developed our business plan and the direction that we wanted to go. So that short-term rental specialist is still a very close friend and mentor, and we talk almost daily.
All right. So let's define some things. What is a short-term rental?
So short-term rentals are furnished apartments or homes that are rented for short periods of time, usually 2 to 28 days, as opposed to annual rentals. They are seen as an alternative to hotels. Many travelers prefer to rent out a room or an entire home instead of using, conventional lodging. Homeowners like short-term guests. There's many reasons, but they include the space is cleaner, they have better property health, they get more qualified guests, there's no long-term furniture move-ins, and most importantly, they're usually a lot more profitable.
A lot more profit. Ooh, profit's good. I like hearing that. So now, why would a homeowner consider a short-term rental over a long-term rental?
Okay, several reasons here too. First, your rental property will see more care and cleanings to your home. So a typical stay is 3 to 6 days, and with your home being cleaned every 4 to 10 times each month, there shouldn't be any surprises that you see that you would normally see with a long-term renter. If there are damages or items missing, we catch it quickly and we charge it back to the guests. So that eliminates costs to the homeowner as well. There's significantly less wear and tear on properties. There's minimal use of water and appliances. And secondly, your renters will be paying in full prior to their arrival. So non-paying renters will not be an issue. In a long-term rental, the tenant search is costly in time and money. It usually requires a real estate commission. Minimal background information is available on those tenants. Short terms are really different. My guests go through an extremely thorough vetting process, and we have information regarding their reputations. There are no finder's fees or wasted time searching for guests. It's completely hands-off for the homeowner.
Wow. So, and I told you I was going to ask you this before. Is Airbnb, is that the only platform that you can kind of rent a short-term rental out at?
I'm so glad you're asking that. No, I say Airbnb because sometimes saying short-term rentals, VRBO, all the above platforms, it just takes a little while. So if I refer to Airbnb, just know I mean all platforms plus additional ways of attracting guests.
Okay. Okay. I just want to now, and then finally, I'm saying this, that I would like for you to put the B back in Airbnb, which is the breakfast. There's never any breakfast provided, and I'm a breakfast guy. So I'm calling on you as a short-term rental manager to figure out a way to have breakfast at my next Airbnb.
I will do that. I had two more things I wanted to point out between long-term and short-term.
Oh yeah, sure.
And by the way, I do offer coffee and creamer.
Okay.
You're probably talking about something a little more substantial.
Maybe some oatmeal. I don't know. Cereal, maybe.
So one thing about long-term rentals in the money collection, rent is paid usually on the tenant terms.
Mm-hmm.
So it gets a little bit difficult to enforce late payments or necessary evictions. In short-term rentals, the payments are issued to you monthly, so you don't ever have to track like missing late payments. Mm-hmm. And like I said, the income. Historically, homeowners are seeing 1.5 to 3 times more income on a short-term rental versus a long-term. So I'll leave you with this thought. Rather than having a tenant showing up with a moving van, your guests show up with a suitcase. There are no wall nicks from them moving their furniture or engines being replaced in your garage.
But I have heard about parties and damages. What about that? How do you prevent that from happening? Somebody flying into town and just trashing your house with their suitcase stuff. How do you prevent that from happening?
Oh my gosh, with social media, unfortunately, there are some outrageous stories out there, and you are correct. Fortunately, we take a lot of precautions in our vetting. So all of our guests go through a 20-step vetting process. And if they don't pass that vetting process, we have no problem denying them. We don't want guests that don't belong in your home. And on the other side, happy guests leave higher ratings. We love building relationships with the neighbors. So they're kind of an additional set of eyes and ears on the property. And they'll usually communicate with us if something raises concerns. We usually offer them a discounted stay for their friends and family, which they love. Additionally, Airbnb does have a $1 million coverage for any damages that guests may cause.
So different service providers will have a different service insurance underwritten for issues like that.
Correct. But Airbnb does take care of their homeowners.
Gotcha. That's awesome. So now we're talking about managing short-term rentals. Can you give me a breakdown of the services that you provide then?
Sure, you bet. I do quite a bit. So consulting, furnishing, staging, professional photographs, and then I'll go create the content for the online, put the home on the online platforms, advertising, all the online communications, all the vetting, all the check-ins, check-outs, issues, booking changes, professional cleaning. I continually optimize any of the online platforms, and then all of the homeowner communication and payments.
Who does the naming of the houses on Airbnb? Is that you?
It is. And it makes a difference. So you have to kind of play around with those names sometimes to see, what attracts people.
Yeah, right. It's fun. That's cool. Awesome. So, so why wouldn't a homeowner just manage it themselves? I mean, first off, the laundry list that you mentioned right there is why I wouldn't. I'm like, I'm not doing all that. But what are some of the objections that homeowners have to having you manage it versus them themselves?
Well, a homeowner can absolutely manage it themselves. So we talked about all those services, but right now I manage 10 properties and I'm averaging probably 20 to 50 calls and emails per day. When we talk about those inquiries, those changes, the communication with the cleaning team, replacing missing or overused items, they come in 24 hours a day. So if you have a job you need to be responding to these people. I communicate with my homeowners for blackout dates for their friends and family, maintenance issues, but many times I'm talking to their preferred vendor to take care of a repair, and I'm trying to coordinate when guests are not in the home so that we can fix an issue without losing revenue. I'm buying coffee and creamers that we just talked about, travel size toothpaste. My team's running out at 9:30 at night when you have a guest that just flew all day and they're having problems with, the key code. So, and additionally, my team is typically washing, bedding, and towels. So you're figuring 3 loads of laundry per bedroom, and towels take an awfully long time to dry. So if the homeowner wants to manage it, they can. I think the time requirement is a lot. And if you allow somebody else to manage it, you, the homeowner, you have your freedom to plan your days and your life without interruption. And
I would say, Jeannie, that keeping it occupied in a short-term basis, meaning 3 to 5 days on a regular basis, is you want to have a quick turnaround, right? You don't want to have a day off, because the more you can keep it occupied for the short, the more money you make, versus, right, some of the longer stays are they get a longer term discount. So it's better to have that 3 to 5 days and then not even miss a day, but turn it around, in the morning, in the evening, that kind of thing, right?
Yep. You totally get it.
Yeah. I love it. I think it's a great service. And I really do think, as we're talking about this, right? I mean, it's really the ability to maximize, if let's say you're a snowbird, right? And you're living down in Arizona, you're heading down there right now. But you want to make your place available for people that are having to fly in for work and stuff like that. It's like, I think that the hard part is many people are very personal about their home. But if they were to have a separate outbuilding, tell me about some of the things that you've done, like where there's an ADU or something that you've utilized and help people, make some money off of that.
Yep. So I think when you think about a short-term rental and you wonder which homes are performing best, Airbnb started off in San Francisco. I think it was like 2007. And so it was a way for homeowners to rent a room and make extra money. But now you're seeing luxury homes, with international destinations. So what I'm seeing right now is I'm seeing everything. I'm seeing mother-in-laws. I'm seeing tiny homes. I'm seeing bedrooms that have a separate entrance becoming short-term rentals. But I'm also seeing, like you were talking about going to Arizona, I'm seeing homeowners that want to spend 6 months, out here in the Washington area during the summer, but they're heading out during the winter. And those homes, they could actually be generating money. And I know for those that are local, I mean, you just think about Suncadia. A lot of those are owned by, the homeowner owns them, but they have a separate closet or room that is locked off. It's really common right now. And then I'm also seeing long-term rentals that are converting to short-term rentals because of that 1.5 to 3 times amount of income. They're switching.
That's pretty cool. I love it. Well, listen, we could talk forever, but if somebody wants to get started, how do they get a hold of you?
Well, first of all, I hope that you'll talk to someone to get more information. And if you're local, talk to me. And then what I would do is I would come out to the property. I would take pictures. I kind of want to get to know what that space is like, and then transform it into an oasis for guests. And pretty much what I'll do is I'll give you a lot like what you do, Dan, with a comp analysis, but mine are more based upon occupancy and nightly rates, seasonality. So I'll sit down with them, give them all the information. Once we come to an agreement, it's probably 3 to 4 weeks of, really hustling, but getting that place ready to go, getting the professional photos and getting it online to launch.
Okay. Well, listen, I really appreciate you joining us today. I think this is an awesome discussion, and it's a really good opportunity. So if you know of anybody, if anybody watching or listening, know of anybody that's thinking of, about maybe maximizing the use of their home here in the Northwest and they have an extra space, feel free to reach out to Jeannie. Her phone number is 425-445-0868. Jeannie, thanks for coming on.
Thank you very much, Dan.